Hi, it's Colleen, and this is the video for my card kit, Christmas Roses. This card kit has 6 cards to it. I'm going to show you the first 2 or 3 in this first video, and we will for sure need a second video, possibly a third, because I can only make them about 15 minutes long. So we'll get started. The first card is this Merriest Christmas Wishes. And before I get started, I wanted to show you, I kind of have what's left of the paper pack. There's 2 paper packs. There's this size here, which is an A4 size, and it's got all kinds of pieces to it in different sizes of panels. Here are some smaller ones here. And what I did for the cards that I am doing in this is I picked out various panels that I knew I would have enough of. I had to purchase about 4 of the card kits to get enough for everybody. But you've got different size circles, different size tags, and I'll be showing you the various sizes as we come to the cards of what I chose for each card. And then there's also was a 12 by 12 paper pack, which I needed to supplement. And I used, this is not the background, I used a smaller roses background for one of my cards. And then it had big images, and I was able to cut apart some of these images and just show portions for the fronts of the cards that you will see as we go along. So our first card is this 6 by 6 card, and it uses 1 large panel and then has other decorative elements to it. So I chose panels that are this size here, and then there is a shimmery cardstock that we're using for this background here. And I'm just going to go through a couple of them so you can see. It's got this cute little, I don't know, I think he's probably a snow seal, something like that, I'm not sure, but there are different motifs, lots of different birds, and of course all of the images except the little animal have lots of roses in them, so I made use of that. And this I cut, you know, it was a much larger image, but I cut apart the part that would work well for the cards. Making 12 cards out of a kit, sometimes you run into a problem of not having enough cards. So if you cut apart the 12 by 12 pieces, such as this one, in an interesting portion of the background, then you get different cards. So those are the various ones. Obviously with this kind of a card kit that I'm doing, everybody's not going to have the same pictures that I'm showing on my cards, but you will all get some great pictures or panels. So after this panel was cut, I used some red stickles and put it on the very edge of this panel. And I did that using a method where you put, I'm going to just put a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, but a pile of the stickles on a piece of paper. And then you're going to put some on your finger. And you're going to take and roll your finger along the edge. I've got way too much on here, but it'll be easier for you to see when I have this. I'm rolling my finger and kind of turning it as I go along. Now this, again, like I said, is too much, but it shows you how to put it on. And if you have sometimes you can get some of that off. And then you just keep rolling your finger along the edge. This is probably kind of what you're looking for. So you're not going to put that much on your hand. And you just keep rolling it so that the glue from the stickles goes onto the very edge of your card, and keep going around. And when you just have a little bit on your finger like I do now, you're getting probably about the right amount that you want on the edge of your card. And you just rotate your finger until it comes off. And then you have it around the edge of your card. Takes a little bit to dry, so I usually do that part of the card first and set it off to the side to dry. And now I've got stuff all over my finger. Oh well. Okay. So then the rest of the card is fairly easy to put together. I cut 3 different panels of the green cardstock and layered them together. There you can kind of see the dimension. So there's a 3/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, and a 1/4 inch. So you're just going to layer them, glue them together just like that. If by chance you have a little bit sticking above the edge at the top there, like this one, go ahead and after you've glued it down, go ahead, turn it over and just snip it off even with the bottom. I cut them a little bit long. I like to cut them a little bit longer than the base piece so that I don't run short, I run long, and then I can cut it off. The last part of this card that is a little different is I made some ribbon. This came as a white. I'm not sure if it's rayon or what it is. Brooke has this down at the store, and I dyed it with my re-inker of the Distress inks. So I did a yard for everybody, and in order to make this bow, what I did was, hopefully we can see the whole thing on the camera, get your middle of your yard, and then you want to make 2 little rabbit ears, I guess, and fold them together, and you've got your first bow. Then you're going to make a second one. So again, gather some 2 rabbit ears and fold them together, and there you've got your bow. Now what you can do at this point is shape it how you want it to end up looking. And if you want to, you can take a little bit of glue, or you can take a glue dot and kind of, after you have it in a pleasing manner, go ahead and glue it down, and then if you need to tack some of the edges down so that it lays the way you want it. So it will kind of lay like this. Okay, and I might take that one, put it over here, and lay them down. And then if I need to overlap and do a little glue so it sticks together, then trim off your ends, and then you have a nice little glue, bow accent. And then I have some off-white cording, and I just tied a smaller little tiny bow, put it with a little glue on top of it. This ribbon does crease very easily. I've really tried to keep this one from creasing so that I can have it for a sample at the store, but when you're mailing this, it probably will flatten out unless you get maybe put it in a box, or maybe deliver this to someone that you wouldn't be mailing it to, but you're going to give a Christmas gift to. The last element is the Merriest Christmas Wishes. I cut out 3 of them, and we're going to layer them together. So what I do is I lay the bottom one down, and I put little dots of liquid glue all over the sentiment, and then I just start at one end and I start matching up, like I'll match up the C here, and then everything else will lay down right along the same lines. And the T, you can see here where it doesn't quite match, so you'll pick it up and you'll be able to get those to, you'll be able to push them, together like this and get them to match up. When you've got these bottom 2 done, Then you'll put glue again on the bottom on this, the top, actually the top of this one here, and then you'll match this one up here. So you have a nice, thick, sturdy sentiment. You can see here where it's nice and thick and makes a nice presentation. Okay, that's card number 1. Card number 2 is this card, and it is a fun fold card. So you open it up this way, and it's got another fold here to the middle. So on this card, the different panels that I used, again, not everybody's going to get this one panel. So there's a lot of panels that have birds on them. So you'd get the bird for the top and this one for the middle here. Some of them are a little bit different size, and I will make sure that your matting piece goes together with the size of of the panel. So this is the outside of one, this would be the inside. I didn't put a sentiment on this, so you're welcome to use one of your sentiments for an inside sentiment on your card. Here's another one with a bird on it, and then this has an inside scene on it, and when there's a bird up here in the corner. Another one of the little there were several of the little I don't know what he is, if he's a snow seal or quite what he is, but he's awful cute. So we've got that. So now I'm going to show you how to put together this fun fold card base. So what we're going to do is use our scoreboard, and we've got an 8.5 by 11 sheet of piece of paper here, and you're going to start by initially scoring it in quarters. So this 8.5 inch side you'll score at 4 1/4, and then on the 11 inch side you're going to score at 5 1/2. And then you're going to, in this upper corner, you're going to score 1/2 inch in from this 4 1/4 inches, so 4 3/4, and you're going to score it down to the middle. Okay, and then you're going to score 1/2 inch in from the edge, so that will be at 8 inches, and again down to the middle. Then what you're going to do, excuse me, I need to grab a pair of scissors, forgot to bring mine out. I'm going to cut away the 2 1/2 inch pieces. And just cut right along the score line. You could put this in your, if you have a 12 inch trimmer, you could put it in and do it that way also. Just whatever you're comfortable with. This for me is easiest, and I can tell right now I cut that crooked because I'm working in a hurry here. But normally, when you take your time, you can, and then you just cut it apart, cut it away here. Okay, and then you're ready to go ahead and score fold your scores, the rest of your scores. And this piece here, I'm sorry, I forgot. This piece comes off also. Again, I cut that crooked. Normally I wouldn't do that. So you've got a fold down edge and then an open edge. Okay, so the one thing, this one looks like it came out pretty good. The bottoms are both even. On my last one I did, this piece actually hung over a little bit, extended this way a little bit, and so I cut it off. But this one you can see is a little shorter. That's fine. You can go ahead if you want to. This actually is slightly more than 5 1/2, so you could go and just take this, put it in your trimmer and trim it up to the edge of this panel, and that would make it even. I'll show you this card again. Here it's even at the edge, so that's what you'd probably want to do. So those are the two solutions for either if it's too long or a little bit too short, because when you crease on a fold, it takes up some room in the card, so it takes away some of the extension here. Okay, so now we're doing this card as in a landscape orientation, but you could also do it in a portrait orientation and open it this way, and then this one flip up. Okay, so the rest of this card is pretty straightforward. Each of the two panels has a piece of matting around it. Then there's the larger off-white sparkly cardstock matting. On the inside, there's glitter cardstock that goes in a narrow band, and then you've got your panel with a small amount of white matting around it. And then on the very inside, you've got your off-white piece to write your greeting. And what I would do is, if I was writing on this card, is I would just write what's underneath the panel, so that when I close it up, you don't see any writing here. It gives it a cleaner look. Okay, that's card number 2. Card number 3 is a fairly